All right, if you're in Peninsular Malaysia, listen up. Your electricity bill, it's about to get a major shakeup. We're going to break down exactly what this means for your wallet and, how you can get ready for it.
Okay, get your calendars out. July 1st, 2025, that's the date. A brand new electricity tariff system is coming online. And really, the big question isn't if your bill is going to change, it's how. So let's make sure you're actually prepared.
So you might be wondering, what's really driving this whole thing? It's super important to get this. This isn't just some tiny price hike or a minor adjustment. No, this is a total redesign, a complete rethinking of how we all pay for our electricity.
Basically, there are 4 key changes coming your way, and they're all supposed to be working towards one goal, making your bill feel, fairer and just easier to understand. You're going to see exactly what you're paying for, from the cost to actually make the power to the cost of shipping it to your house. The old, kind of confusing system is getting simplified. And there's this huge new focus on something called time of use. We'll call it TOU for short. On top of all that, there's some new incentives to help you be more energy efficient.
Okay, now we're getting to the core of it. Right at the center of this new system is a really big choice you're going to have to make. And it all revolves around that time of use tariff, or TOU. Seriously, understanding this next part is crucial.
Think of it like this. You've got 2 roads you can take. The first one is the general tariff. Super simple, totally predictable. You pay one flat rate for your electricity, no matter what time it is. The second road is the TOU tariff. This one's a bit more dynamic. The price of electricity actually goes up and down depending on the time of day. The whole idea is if you can shift when you use power to the cheaper off-peak times, hey, you might save some cash.
So when exactly are these more expensive peak hours? Well, they're from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., but only on weekdays. Now, here's the kicker, and it's a good one. Everything else is off-peak. We're talking late nights, early mornings, and, you're going to love this, the entire weekend. All day Saturday, all day Sunday. That is a huge window for cheaper electricity if you can play your cards right.
And here's where the rubber meets the road. Just look at that energy charge row. With the general tariff, it's a flat 27 cents. Simple. But switch to TOU and that same charge shoots up to over 28 cents during peak hours, but then it drops all the way down to about 24 cents during off-peak. The other charges, they don't change. So the whole game is right there in that energy charge. All of a sudden, waiting until after 10 p.m. to run the washing machine isn't just about routine. It's a financial decision that shows up on your bill.
Okay, so far so good, right? Sounds like a smart way to save a few bucks. But, and this is a big but, this is where the story takes a pretty sharp turn. Because what sounds like a great opportunity can, for certain people, actually turn into a hidden trap.
See, this whole TOU system is built on one big assumption, that you have flexibility. But what if you don't? What happens if you can't just easily shift when you do things? What if your electricity use is all about necessity, not choice?
And we're not just talking about some abstract idea here. Let's get real. Think about parents with little kids who need the air conditioning blasting on a hot afternoon. Or retirees who are, home all day. Or hey, what about all of us who work from home now? Or families taking care of someone who's sick? For these folks, using power between 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. isn't a luxury, it's a non-negotiable necessity. And that right there, that's the heart of the problem. Because if you simply can't move your electricity use out of those expensive peak hours, the TOU plan doesn't just fail to save you money, it does the opposite. It actively penalizes you. That amazing opportunity, it flips completely and becomes a financial weight on your shoulders. So let's stop talking theory. How does this actually look in the real world? Well, a simulation from the original report gives us a really fascinating side-by-side look. They compared 2 very different families. And honestly, the result is pretty shocking. If neither family changes a single thing about their daily routine, both of them end up paying more on the TOU plan. For the family that's out and about most of the day, it's about 47 ringgit extra. But for the stay-at-home family, whoa, it's a massive jump. We're talking almost 100 ringgit more every single month. This is a huge red flag. It shows that just blindly opting into TOU without changing your lifestyle could be a really costly mistake. Let's double-click on that stay-at-home family for a second. So business as usual cost them an extra $100. Okay, so what if they decide to completely upend their lives to save money? Delaying laundry until late at night, changing when they cook, all that stuff. After all that work, all that hassle, the simulation shows they do manage to turn that penalty into a saving of just 16 ringgit. I mean, think about that. A huge amount of effort for a reward that's, well,
pretty tiny. It really shows you the kind of pressure this system can put on people.
And there's this one quote from the original report that just hits the nail on the head. It basically says that the whole idea is flawed. Why? Because the very households who are told they have the most to gain are often the ones who are stuck, the ones with the least flexibility to change their habits. The promise just doesn't match their reality. Okay, so after hearing all that, the big question is, how on earth do you make the right choice for your family? It's not about panicking, it's about being smart and strategic. Here's a simple 3-step game plan. Step 1, analyze your life. Just take a look at your day and be really honest with yourself about when you have to use electricity. Step 2, use your tools. The My TNB app, your smart meter data. These are your best friends here. They'll give you the hard data, showing you exactly when you're using the most juice. And finally, step 3, choose wisely. If you look at the data and realize, hey, my life is just locked into these peak hours, then there is absolutely no shame in sticking with the simple general tariff. It might sound kind of ironic, but for you, that could easily be the safer and cheaper option.
And all of this really leaves us with one last, much bigger question to chew on. Look, this new system is all about encouraging efficiency, and that's a good thing, right? We all want that. But it really makes you stop and ask, when we design these big, sweeping systems, who gets forgotten? In our push to create a perfectly optimized power grid, who gets left behind? It's something really important to think about as all of this starts to roll out.